Life as a car dealer. And welcome back to Life as a Car Dealer podcast. Thank you for being with us. When this podcast airs, we'll be officially less than 24 hours from the presidential election. Some say it's the most important election of our lifetime. I would agree, but for a lot of other reasons, besides which candidate's going to be president, a lot of local reasons, reasons we literally see every single day just by glancing out the windows here at R&B Car Company here at the dealership. We see it on our way into work, we see it on our drive home a lot of times at night, and that's homelessness. We get consistent foot traffic and panhandling. This has been an ongoing issue over the years on the south side of South Bend here, but 2024 has been like none other for us. About a month ago, I'm at home doing some yard work. It's Sunday around noon and the dealership is closed. Phone rings. Oh yeah, by the way, we can answer our phones when we're not here because the store phones ring our cell phones. But so the phone rings, I don't think much of it. Somebody picks it up. I'm still doing yard work or whatnot, and that lucky somebody that day was Andy. And who was on the other line?
I don't know if I can disclose his name, but he introduced himself as Goshen Police, military, gave himself a couple other titles, asked to speak to the to the owner of the dealership, actually demanded that the owner of the dealership come down and meet him at the lot.
And he went ahead an investigation on a Mustang. Wasn't it? Yeah, he called about a blue Mustang, and I'm thinking in my head, and I'm like, we just took a blue Mustang in on trade, like, well, maybe the person that traded it or whatnot, maybe there's an issue going on there and something prior, but then I'm thinking, I'm like, it's a Sunday, like, no detective is like doing like police work on a Sunday. So I'm like, Andy calls me and I'm like, you know.
Well, he said that we had confiscated his vehicle, is what he told me.
Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah, the vehicle got confiscated, and I'm like, there's no detective calling us. Like, tell that guy.
That was on the phone call?
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
So I told Andy, like, tell him to screw off. Like, we'll deal with this Monday or whatnot. So I don't know if you're familiar with the area, but we have these big inflatable balloons or whatnot that's out front. And Tony, our balloon guy, he was lucky enough to have to switch out the balloons that Sunday. So some time goes by, and it's around like 4 or 5 o'clock, and Tony's sending me text messages. I'm at my youngest's Pee Wee football game, and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, there's some crazy guy up here, and he's marching back and forth, and his imaginary shooting in the air is gun, and he's shooting at me like with this imaginary gun, and I'm trying to do the balloons, and all of a sudden he's sending me pictures and all this and that, and I'm like, all right, well this doesn't make much sense at all, right? And so I called the police department in South Bend. They sent an officer down here, and I guess they're kind of familiar with the guy or whatnot, but it's an ex-military guy, is homeless, and he's out front guarding our Mustang. It was actually a blue Mustang that we had that was out here. It wasn't even the trade-in that we had. We had a blue performance pack that's out here, and he's out there marching around it like it's the tomb of the last lost soldier in Washington D.C.
Shut down, sir. Good luck with that, sir. Police no longer have jurisdiction, sir.
Man. The guy is still sitting on the on the picnic table with the police officer, and I kind of lose it on the police officer. And I'm like, why? I called here on Sunday to have this guy removed from our area. Now we're here, we're 12, 13 hours later, and the guy's still on the property, and now our window's broken. And so the police officer's like, sir, you gotta move to the side or whatever, go inside. I'm like, well, he's still on our property. Get him off our property. And at that point, another police officer showed up, and they haul him off to the psych ward or the hospital or whatnot, and the guy was literally back down here by 10 o'clock, wasn't it? It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
10 o'clock. He's
Yeah.
back. He's about 10 o'clock. He was down here.
Back
So-
at the Mustang.
So then we call the police again, and they come back down, and that's when they inform me that if he's not physically, because he was off where property is on the sidewalk at that point, that they couldn't really do anything. And then they tried to take him to the hospital, but they said that the hospital released him in 10 minutes and said that he was sane, basically, which we know better than that. I guess my point being, we feel really bad for this guy because he hasn't had any help. We've tried to, Tasha even tried to call the veterans line, and there's no programs for people like this or whatnot. Yeah, he even had it where he walked inside here. He's been in and out of the building a few times. We're gonna end up trespassing him from all our properties.
Yeah,
Derek,
he
we
walked in one
trespassed
time.
him.
I asked him. I said, look, dude, you're not even supposed to be in here. You need to go exit that way. Everybody started running and to call the phone. I said, just walk out. You're not supposed to be in here.
Yeah, it's been ongoing, and it's not just him. Like, we had another guy last week that walked here, and he was literally in the bed of one of our F-150s. And kind of the same thing. I don't know what kind of drugs they got going on here on the south side or where these guys are getting. I don't know if it's alcohol or meth or what's going on. Something crazy is going on.
I know it's pretty bad because they walk through the parking lot just screaming at themselves, or they walking through the parking lot talking to the imaginary friends. So it got to be some kind of stuff they got that's just crazy.
The one panhandler with the dog, you guys see the one with the dog that walks down here? That guy was yelling at me from the road the one day. He's like, hey! And I just kept walking. I'm like, just continue to walk away from him. And he gets louder and louder and louder. He's like, finally, he's like, F you, man. You don't give me no money. Screw you. I'm like, it's been crazy. Even behind the movie theater back here. Andy, you took the kids back there. You seen it a couple weeks ago. I was telling you about it, but they got a whole encampment back there. There's a door or something out in the middle of nowhere. Over here by the O'Brien Center, back in that backwoods, they're all like hanging out in and out. I mean, seriously, like how much more foot traffic over the last year? Like we'd get people like here and there that runs back and forth on the south side here, but it's been like every half an hour, 45 minutes, somebody's walking through here. We've found all kinds of beer cans.
Oh yeah, and then
Service.
not to mention, I don't know her name, but the lady that took our keys from the service department too. That was pretty bad.
I think it's
His girlfriend.
Corporal.
Yeah.
Corporal, the most common last name that you can think of in the world. I think it's his girlfriend that had the.
Muhammad?
I mean, it depends on what part of the world you're in. But yeah, I guess when one of the police officers was telling me when they were out here is that our homeless center in South Bend here is advertising at other places across the country that it's one of the nicest homeless centers in the country. So what happens is a lot of these people are getting dropped off here during the week through transpo or busing or whatnot, and they end up here. Then they don't realize that you're not getting in the homeless center in South Bend if you're on drugs or if you're on alcohol or whatnot. So these people just end up and down the streets here, and a lot of them, like Corporal, the most common last name in the world, doesn't get any help. I mean, if he's a veteran, he's just thrown out in the street. I mean, I think a lot of that comes down to, local candidates and who you vote for and all that good stuff. Not necessarily on a national level, but a local level. So we had what was that one guy, Andy? Remember, like back in the day,
Bob?
Mm-hmm. We looked him up.
Yeah.
That was somebody that it was probably Well, gosh, that's probably been like, what, 10?
He was ex-military. He was actually a police officer that was in a really bad accident and had brain damage. Actually reached out to his daughter, found his daughter on Facebook, and yeah, she told us the story that he was in a really bad accident, serving on the police force, and just never got the help that he needed. And
I think alcohol, right? It was alcohol.
yeah, he turned to alcohol. Yeah, he was pretty bad.
After whatever happened, then he turned to alcohol, and that's one thing we always had to. We kind of took him in for a little bit, and he ended up being found. What
In a manhole.
was it? A manhole or was it?
In the winter? Yeah.
It was like a real cold stretch or something too. He was looking for warmth, but he would come in here and put all his socks on the table and take like a bath in the bathroom. Basically, that was when Rob was the manager here, and but we could never give him any money because that was back when the A-frame was down here on the corner for the liquor store, and you'd throw him like $5-10 at you, and he'd walk down the street.
Beeline right to it.
Right to the A-frame, and he'd be drunker than a skunk walking back up Michigan Street. So, like, we would have to go over to Dairy Queen and buy him, like, a hamburger, hot dog, or Wendy's or whatever. And you could never give him cash.
Blackberry brandy. How was his drink?
Blackberry. I still remember that.
We'd find the bottles everywhere. It was back in the day when we parked the trade-ins back here. And in the winter, when it was cold, we'd leave a trade-in unlocked for him so he could sleep in there. So,
And he never caused any harm or any damage. And I don't know what's different like now, but a lot of these guys that come through here, like for instance, the corporal here, the Goshen investigator, you know, he's throwing rocks at our windows and everything.
He offered me a job too.
Oh, he gave his commissary card from jail when he got thrown into jail to Jordan, remember? A couple weeks ago, and said, "Here's $1 million.
To use this to get me out.
Yeah. So I don't know what the answer is, or what, you know. It's tough just seeing these people, no place to go, in and out. Like there's no help and no programs. I don't know what the answer is.
more roundabouts.
We have more roundabouts, right? One-way streets in South Bend. So that's always a possibility. But we're going to keep moving here. And before we move on to some strange Powerball happenings, let's get a message from our sponsor. Our sponsor literally sponsors our paycheck every Friday here. That's R&B Car Company, located in South Bend, Warsaw, and now Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fall savings are here, 90 days no payments, and employee pricing for all. Check out our inventory at rbcarcompany.com and come see why we are where you ought to be. So, we have some strange stuff that I've seen online here that I didn't even know that this whole process was like this for the Powerball, but John Cheeks actually that's the wrong one here. Hold up. I had to cut this out for one
I'm just
second.
reading about one. The guy's still waiting on his Powerball after 3 months.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to pull up. But that's the wrong dude. I didn't realize that. There we go. Alright. So, in other news, there's a Powerball player from California who won $44 million jackpot and hasn't received any of his money months after winning this prize. So a California lottery fanatic claimed he hasn't seen a dime of his Powerball jackpot winnings worth $44 million in over 2 months since he matched all 6 of his numbers. Jerry, an everyday lotto player, plays all the games and tried his luck on August 19th. So what are we? We're November. We're going to be, when this comes out, it's going to be, November 4th. So he was armed with his lucky number 10. His last name remains unknown, but purchased a ticket from Ralph's grocery store in southern Orange County in California and became the sole winner of $44.3 million. So his cash value is set at $21.9 million. So Ralph's, the convenience store, has already received $100,000 from selling his ticket, but he hasn't received any of his money. So when I was looking on here, that they have to go through this whole verification process to verify who you are if you hit all this money. As you guys imagine, like you just like walk into work like, screw you guys, I just won $44 million, like I'm out, but then you're like flat broke because you don't have anything for months. Like I didn't even realize that was like a thing that you had to. Yeah, so they gotta figure out.
They get saying
make sure the winning ticket. Then you got the cross check to ensure the winner doesn't have any out of state taxes and child support.
Child support and all. Yeah, like don't matter, man. If you got child support, you're gonna cover it with all that money you won. So
right.
But it's just weird. I mean, he should have said, "It's my money and I want it now."
That's the only reason they gave him was that.
They ain't give him a reason yet.
No, so he hasn't been really like contacted or started enjoying the prize in 4 weeks. So it's the earliest a winner may start enjoy the prizes as 4 weeks. So we gotta wait at least a month if you hit the Powerball.
I mean, a month is doable. You know, as long as you know you got that money coming. But when it comes to 3 to 4 months and you still ain't heard nothing, now it's time. That's just a lot of money to just be waiting on and you don't know nothing about.
So this isn't the first time Powerball players' winnings were delayed or flat out denied. You imagine that? You hit the Powerball and they're like, no, we're just kidding.
I'm going to tell you a story. Now, they really don't play about this child support, right? So, they don't play. So I'm going to say probably about 20 years ago, you know, I'm working and I go buy a ticket at Speedway, and it's a $10 ticket, and I get home, I'm scratching it off, and I'm like, oh my God, it was $1,000 ticket. So my mom, knowing what she was talking about, said, son, you need to give me that ticket. I said, no, mama, I'm going to take this ticket and I'm going to cash it in. She said, son, you're child support. I said, no, I'm all caught up. So, long story short, I'm out buying drinks for everybody in the bar because I got a $1,000 ticket in my pocket. Next morning.
Did you get any of those drinks, Eddie?
No.
Next morning, I get up and I go to the Hoosier Lottery because it was down on Ironwood back then. And they said, oh, good job, Mr. Blah, blah, you know. And I'm like, yep, here's my ticket. So I'm sitting there waiting. 15 minutes roll by and I'm still waiting. 25 minutes. She finally come out and she give me a check for $0.
She even gave you a check?
She gave me a check for $0. She was like, well, your child support took it. I'm like, what? So you could have kept that $0 check and just told me. So yeah, so they don't play around when it comes down to child support and other things that you guys owe if you win big.
I wonder what happens like if you hit that $44 million, right? And you got like 3 kids. And do they like go after like if you're divorced or whatnot? Do they like figure out a percentage of that they're gonna give it to like your ex-wife? Like I'd lose it.
See that I don't know, but I know if you owe child support, they're gonna get that child support.
It's just like when I won that $15,000 last year. Middle of the night. What they do is they send it through a process through the state. So if you owe anything, child support or garnishment or anything,
So they probably go through like every single state
they do. They do.
to make sure. That's probably what.
And so I got $0 back as well on a $15,000 hit from the casino.
Yeah, I would not be happy.
No, especially that time. $1,000, I mean, I'm cool with, but you know.
I never win any. How do you guys?
He was happy for about 15, 20 minutes.
Right?
I think I called AD.
Oh, he FaceTimed me. He FaceTimed me at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. 2 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, it's FaceTime to me.
I called my son. I said, son, come walk me out. Then I called him back. You ain't got to walk me out.
Then security had to walk you out. Oh, man.
That was exciting.
That'd be tough.
Yeah, but now the child support is paid for.
See, that's why I don't play the Powerball.
I mean, it's a heartbreaker.
It is a heartbreaker, but I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
What's,
but he had plans. He had plans to do all that.
You guys, who hit the one? You guys, it was like $600 or something. You guys went down to the.
I was Travis. $612.
You guys had the big check. I'm like,
It was years ago when the Powerball was real big, and we did an office.
was that a
pool.
Powerball, like $600 winner?
We did an office pool, and then we bought some on the side ourselves. And Travis actually hit one that he'd matched several numbers, so he won $612. So
Nice.
we went down there, and we made him hold up one of those big signs at $612. It still comes up in my memory. So.
All right, well, we're running out of time today, so don't forget to follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more video podcasts like this one. Check us out next Monday at the same time. That's all we have time for today. Have a great week and get out and vote. Have a good one.